Hi guys, Kim here. So this is my Shop Fox M1049 lathe, and to be clear, I have abused the hell out of it. I mean, I don't know, abuse is a strong term. I constantly put things bigger on it than it was really supposed to do. Anyway, it's what happens when you have a little lathe and you're trying to do bigger things. So yesterday this motor decided it wasn't going to work anymore. It would go up about half speed with no power. So it would start, but it wouldn't go at full speed. And I could just stop it. So there's some wires here that were pinched. I don't know if that's the problem. I doubt it. But, because it didn't short out. But I've ordered a couple of capacitors to see if that's the problem. And I figured it's a good time to tear it all down and address some other issues. Let me zoom it in. So, let's put this motor aside. The first failure I had actually was in here. In this guy. And inside there's a big worm gear that runs the power feed. This thing uses total loss lubrication. So you put, you put your oil in, you squirt it in all the openings, and it leaks through and drips out the bottom. And when I was a fairly novice at it, apparently I didn't lube it enough. I figured I'd lube it every day, but you got to lube it every half hour or so. So I actually went on the bottom and put a piece of copper plate across there and made it into a solid, closed off the bottom so I could fill it with oil. It's been working great ever since. But here's the other big problem with these guys. See, get it in the screen. See right here? This is where all the change gears go, and there's an opening in here that goes all the way through, and the chips fly in there and they accumulate back in here behind all the gears, and then they start getting into the gears and they jam the gears and they end up breaking change gears, breaking teeth off. So while I've got it apart, I'm going to actually make a cover for these holes so that none of the chips can go in there and get inside the change gear side. And that includes the motor, because the motor sits right in here like this, and it all comes through here too. So I'm going to try and build a shield to keep the chips from going in there. Originally I thought it was because I would kind of blow it off with a gun sometimes. I've always been real careful not to blow into the ways, just kind of scoot them off, but it ends up blowing the chips in there. So I haven't done that for a long time, but still they accumulate inside this cover. So I'm going to try and keep them out of there while I was never really crazy about a white lathe, so I may just paint the whole thing because it's just so hard to keep it clean when it's white. Stuff stains it. So my lathe operations are screwed until I get myself a motor. Now, if I get the capacitors and set it up and it still doesn't work right, then I'm going to be looking for a 1-horse, 110 volt, 1750 RPM motor with looks like a 1/2 inch shaft. Let me measure it. Huh. 550 thousandths. It's 14 millimeter. It's a 14 millimeter shaft. Yahoo! Sounds like fun. So, stay tuned. I was right in the middle of this project making that plastic shredder, and I was turning on this guy, right? And I did this one, was great. This one was going great, and then right in the middle, all of a sudden the lathe just started running really slow. So there was a lot of load on it, but I have never had a motor fail because you put too much load on it. They usually start popping breakers or something, or they just stall. So who knows? Chinese motor. Grizzly.com wants $400 for a motor for a lathe that I paid $1,295 for. Third the cost of the entire lathe is the motor. Yahoo. So, should be interesting. Now I gotta friggin' fix a lathe. But I love fixing stuff. Stay tuned.